In this video, I'm going to show you how to cross-compile Blender for your iPad on an Intel Mac. So you should be following the directions from this video by Megabit Studio. It's excellent. And you should have gotten to a point in this, if you have a Intel Mac, where you get an error and you can't actually compile Blender for iOS on your device because you don't have a Apple Silicon M1, M2, M4, whatever computer. So this video is for you if you have an older Mac and you still want to compile Blender for your iPad on that older Mac. Okay, so once you've cloned Blender, you're going to CD into Blender here. And then you can have a look at what's in this, and you're going to see this lib directory here. So you're going to CD into this lib directory. And we can have a look at what's in here. So we have a folder for iOS ARM64 and a folder for macOS ARM64. And these are going to be important to us. Obviously the iOS one is for compiling for iOS, and the Mac one is important for compiling for Mac. But let's just look inside our iOS one, and there's absolutely nothing. So obviously we're going to need to change that, so we can clone the official Blender Git iOS ARM64 here. RM-R. Okay, so now we can go back to our git clone here, and this is going to take a little while. Okay, so now this is done. So if you have a look, here's our iOS ARM64 folder. And then we can also clone the Mac x86-64 folder as well, because we're going to need that, because obviously we don't have an ARM64 Mac, so we're going to need that. Okay, so now all that's done, so we can have a look at what's in here. Now we can see that we have our Mac OS x64 as well. And so what we're going to want to do now is replace this ARM64 one with the contents of this Mac OS x64 one. So we can just remove our Mac OS ARM64 one here, or we can use rm-rf, and that will do the trick. Just brute force it. So then we're left with our Mac OS x64. And so then we're going to want to rename our Mac OS x64 to Mac OS ARM64. And now we should have a Mac OS ARM64 there, but with all the contents of our Mac OS x64. Alright, so now I'm going to run, or I'm gonna, okay, in the Blender Git folder here, and then I'm gonna cancel it midway through, because all I really want is the warnings here. If I'm missing anything, make deps is gonna tell me what I'm missing, and then I could just install it with brew install whatever it says I'm missing up here. But it doesn't look like I'm missing anything, so I don't need that. So then we can, in this Blender folder here, try and paste in this. And then if this finishes with no errors, then that just means that you are done, and you can move on to the next steps in that other YouTube tutorial that I will also link here.